but that's where Dame Lillard comes in for the Bucks
For sure.
because first of all, they were like 15th in offense last year, I think, like totally average
Yeah.
offense. Part of that was they didn't have Middleton for half the season. When he came back, he
Correct.
wasn't himself. But part of it was that they have never had with this group somebody who can stretch the court well beyond the arc. And there's a few people in NBA history who can do it like Damian Lillard. And so to me, the most important part won't even be the regular season. It'll be the final 5 minutes
Sure. Yeah.
of playoff games. Because that's when the Bucks have gotten gross sometimes, they've gotten stagnant sometimes. They've tried to force things to Giannis, and he doesn't always have a solution when he's trying to go 1-on-5 with everybody just helping out on him. And the Heat were able to just really, really muck things up against them. I don't know if you can do that anymore against them, or at least it's going to be much harder to do that now with Damian Lillard on the court and with him running the show and with Chris Middleton providing secondary playmaking instead of primary playmaking a lot of the time. There's just that offense is going to be incredible. And I think it'll be interesting because the Bucks sort of in some ways flipped what they do best. Like there's no way their defense will be as good anymore. It just won't.
Right.
Yeah.
Holiday's gone, even though Lopez and Giannis are there to provide all the rim protection. Like Budenholzer's not there, and Budenholzer, for all the crap he got during the playoffs, that dude built a defensive structure that took advantage of Brook Lopez and Giannis in a way that not many guys could have done, I think. And so they might miss him on that end too. But at the other end, it's like that offense is going to be so much improved with Dame at the helm.
Yeah. Eric, isn't it kind of like they flip things, but it kind of looks a little more like what Denver just did, right? In a way, in terms of just like, all right, we're going to be unbelievable offensively and we'll be good enough defensively, we hope.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe is like the thought process, right? Like it was always like the defense is awesome.
Yeah.
And okay, the defense was still awesome in the playoffs pretty much every year, but they just couldn't score. And like part of that was, maybe asking Drew Holiday to do a little bit too much, I guess, like in the Celtics series that Jay and I covered 2 years ago when Middleton was out. Drew had to, defend Kevin Durant on one end and then also try to play offense on the other, or Chris Paul or Devin Booker, and he'd struggle offensively. They're not going to ask Dame Lillard to cover those people. They're going to do everything that they can to hide Dame Lillard defensively, but offensively, like it's just something that they haven't had. Like, just think during that finals run, it was Middleton, Giannis, pick and roll, and like it was deadly. Chris Middleton was fantastic during that series, but Chris Middleton is a mid-range guy. He's a feet on the line 3-point guy. He is not the second greatest 3-point shooter in the history of basketball, right? Like that's what you're talking about when you're talking about Dame Lillard. Like it's Steph Curry and it's Dame. And maybe there's arguments for other people, but I would say it's probably those two. Like if we're talking off the dribble, be able to create it for yourself, like that's just how good he is. So
or Gabe Vincent against the Celtics. Yeah, it's
right.
Those three.
One or the other. But like that, like they just haven't had it like that. And every year in the playoffs, the Bucks offense just grinds to a halt. It just looks ugly in those clutch moments. And, that is something that Lillard is absolutely deadly at. And he just kills during those times. So, they'll figure it out defensively, or at least try to. But offensively, like those issues that they've had over the years, like don't exist in the same way anymore.
I'm paraphrasing, so hopefully I'm not misquoting Dame here, but Dame did have some interview I think I saw on Uninterrupted or something. I can't remember, but it was like some like
where he crapped on Milwaukee.
No. He was
Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see that one. But hold on, tell me that in a second. But he said it was something to the effect of like, I've never had this. I've never had this kind of setup. I've never had this kind of like star next to me. Kind of like I've always been discounted and like dismissed. And I'm like, dude, you're the most Teflon star in the league. Like, like no one. You think about like how like he's been great in the playoffs. They have not, and he almost has never gotten shit for this. Almost has never gotten shit for like not getting to the conference finals, other than one time where they got swept, right? Which I firmly believe if you get swept in the conference finals, it doesn't count as an appearance. Like that's not how that should go, right?
And they were up like 20 every game.
Yeah, right. But like he's one of the most Teflon dudes in the league. Like everyone gives him a pass. Everyone's like, this isn't your fault. Like we know how good you are. He still makes an all 75 team at 75 or all 76 team at 75, whatever that ended up being, because the NBA are cowards for not knocking someone off that list. But I am a little interested in how this gets spun, because now that he's been the guy who's requested the trade, Eric, like he is going to get way more shit if it doesn't work. If it works, it's not gonna be Kevin Durant stuff where like it gets discounted and dismissed or anything as like winning a title. But if it doesn't work, now I think Dame finally, whatever he was talking about might actually come to fruition.
I mean, if it works, it's like KG, right? Where everyone's like, oh, yeah, you suffered in this small market for so long and they weren't able to put a team around you, and you went to a place where you could actually win. And everyone will be like, okay, yep,
yeah,
100%.
Right. Completely agree.
You were actually right. You were right the whole time that you weren't, seen in that same way, and you were capable of winning at a high level.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it goes wrong, like that's just how it goes. Like that's how it has to go. Like you can't say those things and have like the idea of, I haven't had as much team success because I just haven't had a good enough team. There can be no complaints about this team. Joining forces with the 2-time MVP, Chris Middleton, multiple-time All-Star, Brooke Lopez. Like, no, those complaints can't exist after this. So I would agree with you. Like, I think over the years, it's been like, Dame is awesome, his team stinks.
Right.
And that was like a totally fair kind of representation of what was going on, and or the team wasn't complete enough, or it was too offensive heavy, or like whatever. Like those explanations made sense. It's not going to after this year. So I would agree, like there's pressure, but I would guess Dame's probably like, okay, I can deal with this pressure, because the other pressure was not fun either. Like I wasn't having fun playing for that team anymore.